All we need is a funny intro gag now, and then we're done.
All right.
Crispy, tell a joke.
All right. My channel.
Roll the intro.
Yeah.
Is that a joke? Oh my god.
Apparently that's how we're starting it. That's going to be the shortest intro of all time.
No, that's my hot take.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, you know what? Now you've said that. Now it's thematic. Now it has to be the intro.
Yeah,
so roll it.
Roll it.
Hello everyone, welcome to Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. I am joined by your hosts, Crispy Pro and Troy, and me. It's Theres. Hi, how you doing?
Oh wow!
How was that?
That was.
I enjoyed it. I really
one
enjoyed
take
it actually.
And very professional. I'm very
Yeah.
impressed.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, if it isn't obvious, everyone, we are joined by a very, very special someone. The one, the only Theres. You may know him from YouTube.
Hello.
You may know him for being legendary. But thank you very much for coming on today. How are you,
Oh,
Theres?
no worries. I'm good. I'm doing
You
good.
good?
I'm really excited to get into it, you know. I love the podcast. It's great stuff. I loved
you
the
very much.
episode with the guy who did the show in Australia. The Doctor Who show in Australia.
Oh,
I
Adam
watched that.
Richard. I knew
Yeah.
people liked that episode.
He's lovely.
Yeah.
That is the
Yeah.
one episode of, well, not one, we've had a couple, but that one episode really surprised me with the response that it got. I got a few texts saying that was a great episode. I was like, who are
Yeah.
you watching this show? But yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot to us. That means a
Yeah,
lot.
no, I thought it was really interesting. Like a lot of the points, because I'd never obviously it's not a perspective you'd ever hear being in the UK. You know, talking about the Australian side of it. So it was really
Yeah, of
interesting.
course.
I thought.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed. But for everyone at home who is living under a rock and doesn't know who Theres is, Theres, could you please tell the people who you are, what you're about?
I am. Oh, how do I describe myself? A Doctor Who YouTuber.
Nice.
I basically tend to cover news, theories, famously leaks. Although I tend to done a bit less than that these days.
No, you've done more. I feel bad because we call you the leak king, but you have definitely done more than just leaks.
You've stopped leaking.
Yeah, well,
Stop
yeah,
leaking.
that's it. I still don't mind it when people make the leak jokes because they're still funny, right? And it's it's still funny, you know. But yeah, no, that's basically it. You know, I chat waffle about Doctor Who and people care. It seems, and
Absolutely.
it's very fun. And I love doing it. So yeah.
I'm glad. I'm
Exactly,
very, very
yeah.
glad.
I mean, there's a reason to leak. You do more leaks. People enjoyed watching it. Although I did think at one point if you had much more leaks, we'd either be hiring you as a plumber or we'd be putting you in a retirement home because there were a lot at one point. You know, there was a lot of leaking going on.
Yeah.
I wrote that joke down last night because I thought it was quite funny.
Oh, you tried, Troy. You tried your best.
I did. I was like, wow, a funny
Tried your
moment
best.
for me. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to get it in there. I literally
gonna
have
say,
it on my
I
notes
remember
app.
one of the first times me and Crispy interacted. Oh my god, you do as well.
You actually did write it down. And who says we don't come prepared to these things, hey? Ridiculous.
I came prepared with one joke. That's what I brought to the recording today. One
That's
joke.
good.
You know
That's
what?
good.
And you know what, Troy? It added infinite value to the podcast. I
Yes,
think
thank you.
it wouldn't be the same without it. But yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I think the first time me and Crispy interacted was when you did a video way back in the day. I had 4K subs,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
were like, "Oh, show me Theres leaked videos," and you got the Cyberman head, and it projected them all onto a screen, and I was like,
It was,
"Oh,
it was
man."
such a phase. Did you have 4,000 subs back then?
Yeah.
Theres, you've
No.
built an empire in such a short amount of time. Absolutely. It's unreal, but I like the current shtick of your subscriber goal trying to beat Big Finish. I think that's genius. I think that's so funny. So everyone, Theres is trying to beat Big Finish in subscribers, so go and do that. We're having a call to action very early in the podcast.
Let's do
What are
it.
you looking at, Troy?
Yeah. Theres is at 20.5 thousand. A Big Finisher at 24.9 thousand. It's doable.
Come on,
So I could
let's
do
close
it.
that gap.
I think you should set a challenge of getting to 30k before Crispy because he was going to do that with me and then Payday 3 exploded
I
and he
just
lost.
can't get there.
So
I can't get there.
see if you can pass him now as well.
No, I get that. 20,000 was that for me for a while, where I was like, why is it not going over? I was I was
it's
doing everything I could, you know.
Ridiculous. No. We're all bloody famous, aren't we? And you know what
we
else
are.
is infamous? Hot takes, and that's what we're talking about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, Welcome to Hot Takes number 3. But, of course, we have some admin, we have some polls, we have some other things. Oh, news, that's what we do as well. I forgot what we did on this
What's
show
the
for a
word
second.
for things that come out
What's
that,
the
that we have
word?
to talk about?
Like the main segment.
What are they called? What do you want to do first, Chris? Actually, let's let Tharies choose. We have our weekly poll and we also have our news segment. So, which would you rather we start with?
You know, I cover news a lot, so I'm curious to hear the weekly poll section first.
All right. You know what that means, Tharies.
All right, so hang on. Whoever does the intro has to say it at the end. So, like, we need to make Tharies do this. Okay. Dance monkey.
It is tradition. We play a little jingle to introduce the poll, and then when the poll ends the poll music ends abruptly, you say it's poll time. Okay. Can you do that? Are you ready?
I can do that.
You're gonna hear it through your ears in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. There we go.
It's poll time.
Yes,
it is, baby. Yes, it is.
It is indeed. All right, Troy.
Amazing.
What's this week's poll?
So, this week's poll, because we finished looking back on the Peter Capaldi era in our little looking back series, I did what you might expect me to do, and asked what everyone's favourite Peter Capaldi series was. So the options were, quite obviously, Series 8, 9, or 10. So, what I like to do is I like to get Crispy to give his opinion on which was won before I reveal the votes, so I also want your Tharies. What's the spread of votes going to be for this, do you think?
I have a feeling Series 10 will come out at number 1. Because I think that one in particular, like, everyone has kind of been saying, like, that's, like, where it's peaked recently. Like, I think a lot of people have come back to that one and gone, oh my god, Series 10 is so good. I think Series 10 first, Series 8 second, because you got things like Flatline, Mummy on the Express, that are, like, very highly regarded. And then Series 9, because I know that's probably, like, the most divisive of the three. I know some people who really, really love it, and, you know, smart people who have all the themes, and that's really interesting. And then, you know, there's some people who don't like it as much. So I think that'll be the spread, I think. Okay. I could be completely wrong. It'd be funny if I was, but...
Is that your personal rating? Is that how you would rate it?
Probably. But I also think...
respect that.
I think so. Probably. I think.
Okay. Crispy, you have anything to add on that one before I reveal the results?
No, I think I'd be exactly the same. I think Troy, I don't know. I think Series 10 is definitely the most consistent, but I do think that maybe, dare I say, both Series 9 and Series 8 had higher highs than Series 10. Is that controversial?
Can you get higher than John Simm?
No, you can't personally.
Dr. Falls is fantastic, to be fair.
Yes, okay. If we remove that, we remove the finale. Look at the series. Anyway,
we did that already, Crispy. We did that already last week. We're not doing it again.
I'll just say I agree with Tharies on that thing. So give me the numbers, Troy.
Well, then you're both wrong, because finishing out in last place in both polls, Series 8 didn't even break double digits.
You are joking.
Really?
I'm not joking. On Spotify, we only got 19 votes, but Series 8 got 1 vote, 5%. Series 9 got 32%, and Series 10 came out on top with 63%. And it's a similar trend on YouTube. Out of 345 votes, only 9% said Series 8, whilst 29% went for Series 9 and 62% went for Series 10. So on both, about 2/3 of our audience will put Series 10 on top. So
I
right
wasn't
there.
expecting Series 8 to be so, like, unpopular.
Yeah.
I know that, like, there's some episodes that people are like, you know, take it or leave it. But you've got so many good ones in there. You got, like, Flatline, you got Mummy, you got, like, I even like Into the Dalek quite a bit, you know?
Yeah, no, I think there's some absolute bangers, and I think they, like, really did well with Capaldi at the start there. Really did well with Capaldi at the start there. But, I mean, the people have spoken, and they already have some hot takes.
They do. They really do. So there we go. Good. So, Crispy, can we have the ding-dong for the news?
Yeah, for sure. Here you go.
He was ready. He was ready.
Love that.
So, I'm going to have to lead this one because Mr. Crispy Pro has admitted to me before recording that he hasn't actually read this article, which is
I've
quite
been
disgraceful.
for all of 10 minutes before we hopped on the recording.
Yeah, we spent 30 minutes talking about what I've been up to for the week, so that's kind of my fault. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So, there's been a new article that came out from Rolling Stone, an interview with Ncuti Gatwa about a whole heap of things, including sex education and Barbie, but also sharing some interesting details on Doctor Who. There's a new photo that came out of him with a nice little Stetson on.
Yeah,
I love it.
Everyone loved that. Like, that was like my whole Twitter timeline when that came out.
Yeah.
Was just
Yeah, everyone
shooting
posts the
Gatwa in
same
hat.
picture.
Yeah,
it was so
mad.
good.
I have a story about
Doctor
that,
Who fans
actually.
weird. Oh, no, you go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, when, because I've been to 2 bits of filming. The one that was at City Hall, which is where I met them, which was sick.
My
Then
God.
also,
Yeah, that was so cool.
the first bit I went to was at this place called Golden Cross Pub in Cardiff, and I saw him in, like, the car. That's where the meme of him, with the thumbs up from the car comes from.
Yeah.
I was at that. And what was interesting was, we swear we saw his original costume and a hat undercover. And if you go back in far enough, you could probably find a tweet from, I think it's Doctor Who filming location, saying that very thing. So I think that picture comes from that day. I think
From the pub.
So, yeah, from that day of filming.
Would make sense.
So,
Does look very
I might have seen
but also
history going there.
the tinsel. Can we talk about the tinsel behind him?
The tinsel.
Rolling Stone does also specify at the end of the article that Ncuti will appear in a Christmas special in December. That could just be them making a bit of a fluff, because Russell was very careful not to say
it has to
Christmas.
be Christmas, right? Like,
Exactly.
It has to be. Like,
Considering how much information Russell is sharing,
I'm
I'm genuinely surprised he hasn't said it's just Christmas. Like, I don't know why he's kind of keeping his cards to his chest on that
Who
one.
knows? It might be like a scheduling thing because Doctor Who hasn't had the Christmas slot for a while. But I don't know what shows in the UK tend to take up the Christmas spot.
Mrs. Brown these days. It's just Mrs. Brown.
Brown. Oh God!
All
Get that off. Get that off.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not to be a hater, but compared to 2 shows.
I agree. Speaking of intro, no, I agree. What else is normally on at Christmas? I mean, I remember, I want there to be another Gavin and Stacey Christmas special at some point, but they haven't done one of them since 2019, so I doubt that's on the cards.
Crispy enough that. I need more Corden.
James Corden.
I need more Corden in my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I say Gavin and Stacey is the one thing that he's done that's unironically great.
That's what I hear. Apart from the Lodger.
Obviously, apart from the Lodger. And Closing Time. Come on, and Closing Time.
And Closing Time, but more so the Lodger.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I agree. All right, well, let's hopefully see Doctor Who back at Christmas. Pretty pleased.
I think so.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all. Is there anything else in the article?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling back through to remind myself of some of the things. He described his Doctor as emotionally vulnerable. He hides it with humour, but he's lonely. Can't say much more than that. I don't want to spoil anything, but he's also energetic. The poor cameramen struggle to keep up.
That's good. That's what I imagined for Shooties. Did you when you went and saw the filming, Tharies, were you able to see any of his performance, or was it more they came out and said hello afterwards?
Unfortunately not, because it was all interior shooting, so it was mainly just inside. I know someone came up to me who was inside the building for, I believe, some sort of work experience at City Hall, because there was stuff going on that day as well as the filming. There was a wedding that was happening, because that's where they officiate weddings, and then there was Doctor Who filming, and obviously it was just a normal City Hall building as well. So doing a lot that day. And I think someone told me there was one scene where it was Ncuti, Millie, and Bonnie Langford, and they were sort of they were creeping along the floor sort of cautiously, and then 15 whips out his Sonic to scan something or other, and that was the scene they were filming apparently. That's about all I know about what happened inside. But one thing I will say is she is one of the most charismatic men I've ever met.
What was that interaction like?
It was honestly very brief, because there was 20 people there on the pavement, and also that was another thing. One Direction were playing down the road. So you had, that was another thing I forgot to mention. So you had a wedding, you had Doctor Who fans watching Doctor Who filming, and then you had a bunch of people walking along to go see, was it Harry Styles, not One Direction?
I was going to say, I didn't realize they got back together.
That's the scoop. That's the scoop. Shooties traveled back to 2012.
Harry Styles. I got confused because I was I know that Harry Styles was in it, so I think I got confused in my head.
Yeah, he's not the same as he was anymore.
Oh my gosh. Keep going.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god.
I love the delayed reaction there, it was so good.
But yes.
No, so it was such a bizarre clash of aesthetics, because you had a wedding, you had Harry Styles fans booking it to, I think it was the Principality, the the rugby stadium, I think it was. And then you had just Doctor Who fans sat there, be like, "I wonder if Ncuti Gatwa's going to come out." You know, it was just exactly.
Just the nerds in the corner.
It was a fun day. I got very sunburnt, but it was good fun.
Worth it. Though. Absolutely,
it
worth
was.
It.
Oh yeah,
absolutely worth
unreal. It's such a cute photo. I showed my girlfriend. I was like, look, I know this guy. I'm going to shoot him today. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah. But yeah, awesome, sensational, great stuff. Gosh, Tharies, you've already revealed so much insight to us, and you're a great guest already. But things are about to get real heated in here.
They are, but there's still a bit more in the article, Crispy. Do you want to hear what else Ncuti had to say?
I'll bring it back. I thought that was enough, but
no, there's a bit more. Going. There's a bit more. For one thing, if you want a bit of a grasp of how much of a nerd Ncuti Gatwa is, to prepare for becoming the Doctor, he watched the entire 2005 to present revival in a week.
I don't believe it. For a second.
I think he might have generalised it, and it was more like 9 or 10 days. I don't even know if it's physically possible to watch the entire show in a week. But I think
it wasn't like the quote like he watched it like in the weeks leading up to the audition, or am I misquoting that?
To prepare, Gatwa spent a week watching every Doctor Who episode since its 2005 revival. Although he had enjoyed the show previously, he never considered himself a habitual fan, but he emerged from his binge-watching week a die-hard Whovian.
Do you reckon he saw Donna being met and her memory wipe in the same day? Because that'd be quite the
that would be a roller
coaster.
coaster. You're like, Donna's cool. Oh, now she's gonna die. He compared the Time War and the aftermath of that to the Rwandan genocide. Saying about the Doctor has survived a genocide. This person fits in everywhere and nowhere. I am the Doctor. The Doctor is me, and I decided I had to get this role. Then there
I think that was the quote that really sold. Obviously, I've sold before, but that quote in particular, I find so just.
Ncuti is about to become a lot of people's favourite Doctors. I just know
I think so.
he's going to.
I'm so. It's ridiculous. We've said this a million times, Tharies, on this podcast, but we have David Tennant and Catherine Tate coming back, and I am more excited to see what Ncuti Gatwa does.
Yeah, I was just saying this.
What a ridiculous time.
I was speaking to Confused Adipose last night. Shout outs to him.
As you do.
And I was and I was saying to him I feel exactly the same. As much as I'm like, oh my god, the 60th is going to be great, it's going to be fantastic, I'm hyped. There is a part of me that's just sort of man, but Series 14, it just feels so different, and the
I don't know which one to be more excited for. Yeah.
Come November, we'll be like, oh, what are we thinking of? But right now, I'm like, come on. We saw a hat today, for goodness sake.
Yeah, we saw a hat, you know?
He did also note, though, he did possibly give a bit of fire to the 2 series theory, and we might be overthinking it. But there's a bit in the article that says, Ncuti does seem to miss the smaller scale work that theatre afforded him. And then he says, quote, "It kept me warm and it held me all night even if I was broke, but I'm planning on getting back to it next year after I finish season 2 of Doctor Who."
So the impression I got from that, because obviously a lot of people said, oh, he's only going to do 2 seasons, it's all going to go wrong. I mean, well, not wrong, but you know what I mean, he's going to leave early. The impression I got was more, because they're filming Series 14 and 15 really close together. I think Series 15 is supposed to start filming in October. So the impression I got is they're doing that so that Ncuti can go and do his stuff for a bit, and then come back and still do a season for 2026. The vibe I got wasn't that'll be his last one, more so that still just be a little gap for him that he can do other things in, which makes a lot of sense. And then obviously, there's the whole rumours of spin-offs as well, so I don't think we'll be lacking for content.
No, definitely not.
During that time.
Definitely not.
But yeah, so that's pretty much everything. The last thing was just a comment on outfits that I thought was quite cool. He talked about how even the people working behind the scenes, like Russell, etc., were kind of discussing the whole different outfit a week vibe, it's something they were thinking about going into it. And he compared his Doctor to John Pertwee, the third Doctor, saying, "We both have lovely velvet jackets and frilly shirts. I feel a connection to him. Our Doctors are the only 2 who dress like..." I can't say this because we don't swear. There's slugs, but you change the G to a different letter, and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Come on, Chris. There you go.
There we go.
But then he also noted the 60s look in particular to close the article with the striped suit and the afro, and he said, "The hair and makeup department have been incredible. Claire Williams and my own makeup artist Bella, who is an old friend, worked so well together in creating my looks. Originally, we weren't going to have the afro, but Bella convinced me and I'm very glad she did. It's such a shot in the bloodstream. It's a statement. The Doctor is effing black." I just love that. I love that.
Wow. So
there you
true.
go.
done.
So true.
It's a brilliant
Well done.
article and well worth reading through. Not just the Doctor Who stuff. He talks, like I said, about Barbie and sex education, but that's more than enough
Good
for this
stuff.
week's news. There's a lot there. Like, just getting
Yeah,
to hear
That
more
was-
from him.
That was substantial.
It just sort of dropped out of nowhere, didn't it? Like, there was just this...
Yeah.
Because I didn't see
Very
the
welcome,
article
though.
first. I saw the image first. I was like, where the hell's this come from?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's from the Rolling Stone article. Okay, that makes sense. Because, like, I didn't see... Because I was like, okay, maybe they tweeted it on the social medias, but, like, I was like, no. And I was like, oh, it's on that article. But, yeah, that article was really good. Like, there's so many interesting little tidbits there. And I think everything I hear about Ncuti Gatwa in particular just makes me more excited. Just like
I'm
the
just so
prospects.
damn excited.
I think it's just that whole perspective as well that he mentions with like the Rwanda genocide and like the Time War and stuff, and like the comparison between the two. Like that's a perspective we've never like had
No.
from a
No,
doctor.
absolutely
That's not something any other doctor can speak to. And I think it sort of comes back to what a lot of people were excited for in like 2017 with the perspective of a female doctor, because we'd never had that before. And how would
True.
that change things and the dynamic? And I think it's very similar with this, where it's like we're opening the well to like new stories, I think, with that. And I think that's and new perspectives on stories. And I think that's a really interesting thing.
No, that's
yeah.
always welcome. That's always welcome. And I think it also is interesting just how much time it's been since Ncuti has been auditioned and got the part to his actual first episode.
Yeah, there's got to be a new record there, right?
I don't know. I think so. I think Mr. TARDIS or someone did a video on it. I don't know if Ncuti is the record, but I think given this amount of time, and yeah, Shooty's been able to rewatch and actually delve into the world, and it's really refreshing seeing Ncuti, post fan art. He's got fan art in his house and stuff. Like he's really getting into the Whoniverse, and I think he'll be an excellent advocate for the show.
100%. Yeah, no,
Amen.
I feel like he's very much. He just seems to be in tune with. I know it sounds weird to say because I'm like 20, but like young people in general,
With the youth,
like
the cool
with
kids.
The youth, like he just seems to get it. Like just having like just the way he sort of speaks and like the social media aspect to it, and sort of the way him and Millie interact on Instagram and stuff. It's all very.
Oh, it's
all
wholesome.
very. It's perfectly in tune with like 2023. I feel like, and I think there was a bit of filming like yesterday where someone said that they looked over and they waved and they both did two hearts together, and like they both
like
did two hearts to like Doctor Who.
Come on.
It's like how can you not think that they are like just
Nah, it's
great?
cool.
And I'm very excited, but yeah.
I'm very excited as well. Damn, what a wholesome,
I just thought
wholesome
there's
note.
one
Yes?
tiny possible more bit of news, Crispy.
Oh no! Do you want
There
that
is.
ding?
Yep. There is, possibly. This is purely
something drop?
theory and skepticism right now. But I think Tyler's probably going to know where I'm going with this. Doctor Who put up a tweet a couple of days ago, and they were like, we keep we can't stop pausing the Doctor Who trailer at these X times, blah, 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 blah. And was it you did it? Was it the set accounts that added the numbers together? Because I thought it was you, but I think
It was the set account, I think. I covered it, but it was the set account originally.
Right, there we go.
I just got to sit there and say what it was.
Yeah, so
Uh.
So yeah, the set account added together all the timestamps from the screenshots and got 157, which is
What?
15/7, the 15th of July, which is the Wimbledon final, which wouldn't mean much, but that is where Jodie was announced as the 13th Doctor. So there is a bit of a history with Doctor and Wimbledon. And then there was something else as well. There were like,
Hang on, I didn't realize. I've heard the Wimbledon thing. I didn't realize that's how people got to that thing.
Yeah.
So wait, they had screenshots from the trailer, and then they added those
Of, like,
together and came up with a
timestamps.
date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's strange.
and
that
then
is-
they,
I mean, it could be happening because we had the weird ARG trailers things, didn't they? Where there was like
Oh,
there were
yeah.
like little codes. Ooh, my headphones just came off. There were like
That's
little
alright.
codes.
You don't need to listen to us. Yeah.
There were like little codes that were like people were dissecting. It was like, oh, it leads to a Eurovision trailer at this time. So
Oh
maybe
yeah.
it is.
No, they love that stuff.
Yeah, maybe it is like sort of a deliberate little.
yeah,
thing,
and
I
that was
don't
the
know.
other thing. They put up a tweet on Sunday with a picture of like with Ncuti, David, Catherine, Yaz Finney, Neil Patrick Harris, and Ruth Madley, and they were like, who are you most excited to see the 60th anniversary specials? But dotted around the picture there were 6 different symbols, and when that tweet went up, it's 6 days until the 15th of July. So people are really like trying to tie these things together.
There's gotta be. I don't know.
Something's going on.
Yeah, it's odd because they have been ramping up just in general, like mentions
with the
of the
60th
60th and the
But
trailer.
what could they possibly do? I don't want another trailer. Give me a
I think the
prequel,
thing
give me a
is, though,
clip.
it's like I think, to be fair, with the trailers, I feel like they've been very smart in that they've only shown us things we've already basically seen
True.
through filming anyway.
Yes.
Like, when you look at the scenes they've shown, it's been like, oh, it's the Doctor and Donna in Camden, which a lot of us saw.
Most of us at this point have been to Cyberdog because of it, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, we both did a video on it. The filming...
The actual, yeah.
The sort of the filming clip that was put together, which was a really cool little insight, I felt. Into, like, that scene and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I think there is a chance that we could get something. Obviously, I don't want a huge spoilery one, but I think just something a little bit extra that we haven't seen.
Little nugget.
Maybe, yeah, because like episode 2, we still know like nothing, and
Which is
episode
good.
3, we don't know that much either, really.
No.
Other than it's the finale one, and it's called The Giggle. You know,
The Giggle. The
Yeah, I
Giggle.
still
Giggle
love
is
that
such a
title.
strange name, but I do like
I
it.
love it.
Yeah. Right, I
Very
think that's
good.
enough news for us. We're half an hour into recording, hopefully not into the episode itself, so I think it's time we do some hot takes, baby. I think it's time we do some.
You want to do that? Really?
I think
All right.
we should. I think we should.
Well-
so we've got some from our listeners, and then we also asked Tharies to tweet out, get us a couple of hot takes, just a couple extra. And his tweet got 146 replies, folks. So I'm going to be honest with you, we're not going to get
Ridiculous.
through them all. We're not going to get through them all.
No,
But we're going to
we're
try
not.
and get through
No.
as many as we can.
Pick the best
so,
ones. Pick the best ones.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to go for our listeners first, Tharies first? How are we doing this, Crispy? Let's let you make the call.
Will. How many have we got?
We've got a combined total of 19. 13 from the original, the first time we asked before we took the week off, and then last week again,
Oh,
6 more.
perfect. Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, let's alternate between the two until we run out.
All right, then
suppose.
let's start with the one from this. That,
Hang on.
I mentioned...
Whoa. There is some formal proceedings to this
Oh,
segment.
God. Oh, you've got
Here we
music
go,
on.
Tharies. Listen up.
No. Oh, no.
I'm vibing.
There we go.
That was
This man has too
lot.
much time on his hands. This man has too much
That was
time
a
on his
lot.
hands. That was amazing.
I
That was
dug that.
amazing.
Thank you.
So, I'm going to start with... I mentioned this last week when we were looking back on Series 10, and it made Crispy get out of his chair every time I said it, so I'm expecting the tradition to continue.
No.
And I also expect him to get out his first hot wing and start eating that because he's going to want to.
I've got some hot wings, everyone. From
This is
Kentucky
one of the
Fried
worst
in
takes I've
Australia.
ever seen in my life. I don't understand what possesses a person to say this. But James Hannington, his hot take is that the Chibnall era has terrible visuals, especially in Power of the Doctor.
Nah. Ridiculous.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
Oh
I
no,
wanna
hang
play-
on, what are you doing?
I'm
What are you doing?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Devil's
I'll
No,
play
you
devil's
aren't.
advocate.
No, you aren't.
That's
It's
why we
no,
got Tharies
no,
on.
no.
That's why we got Tharies on.
Let me
No!
You know, I'm probably like the most controversial of the three of us, I imagine, probably. Maybe, I don't know. But I was gonna
Who
say,
knows?
like, there have been moments where it's like, ooh, you know, like the Sea Devil, you know, like the Sea Devil
Oh,
jump,
yeah.
and you've got
I
like
completely
certain,
agree. It's not
certain bits
perfect.
of flux where you're like, obviously I get why, because COVID and all that, you know, you kind of got to give them a bit of leeway on that. I kind of get what they're saying. I think I think it depends a lot on like the story as well, because I think in some cases, like the Whittaker era, it does look like fantastic and the best the show's
yeah.
ever looked. I think in other cases, I think it really depends on the story and kind of the way it's shot as well, because like one of the ones that I think looks really good is like When You Fell to Earth, when you've got those shots of them on the
Beautiful,
hilltop
yeah.
and all that. It looks
Stunning.
really nice, but then I feel like sometimes it can feel a bit claustrophobic feeling, if you know what I mean. There's
I
like a
get
lot
you,
of
a lot of
close-up
close-ups.
shots.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of close-up shots, and I think of like Survivors of the Flux when I think of that. I think of, you know, Tech Taeyoon and all this and that confrontation. It's very confined and it's all very sort of close-up and stuff like that. So whilst I don't fully agree, I kind of get to some extent where they're coming from. With Power though, I think generally that one looked pretty good, right? Like,
Yeah,
generally.
I like it. I mean, yeah, there's some dodgy stuff, but
Yeah,
generally,
I guess-
I think Jamie
I'm
Magner
gonna
Stone did the...
I'm gonna load the nano recorder and just go like
Yeah.
that, you know, because
No,
it's not an
the
actual
only-
gun, so I can
no,
make
no.
the joke.
The only thing off the top of my head in Power that looks a bit ropey is, you know, when Ashad, the little Cyberman doll, becomes like a whole full size thing.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, I don't know. I've seen some people say that looks a bit wonky, but I don't know. Other than that, like, I can't really think of anything else. I don't think it looks that bad. But yeah, Power in particular, I think looks pretty good.
Regards to the actual take, I don't think the Whittaker era is the worst looking.
No, hang on. He said terrible visuals.
Terrible visuals.
That seems a bit harsh.
Nah, that's harsh.
Bit?
That's harsh.
Yeah, that is harsh.
Crispy, have you had a wing?
No, I haven't. This is my wing number. I don't even have any water or anything.
You're
this could be
making
bad.
me hungry, man. You're making me
Yeah, look
hungry.
at this. Look at this. That's some hot sauce. Here we go. Look at this. We weren't able to do this last time. Look at this chicken.
Oh my God.
Yum, yum, yum.
Oh,
here
we need a Doctor Who
go.
version of hot ones.
Yeah, this is the closest thing we'll get. All right, here we go.
That would actually be fantastic. Like, someone should do that.
It's the show with hot takes and even hotter Doctor Who opinions.
That's delicious.
How is
Oh
it?
man.
Oh, you're gonna be in pain after this. You know.
Has it got a cake?
That's good. Oh
But
man.
yeah, so let's look at Tharies
delicious.
then. Who's gonna read Tharies? Tharies, do you want to control your own replies?
Well,
Do you
the
want
thing
to pull
is,
some out?
I haven't even looked yet, so this is kind of exciting for me because I was saying before we went on, I deliberately kept it in the dark, so I'll just pick one because I haven't read these.
Let's
like,
see.
at all.
What have you got cooking?
I literally, because you said about how it got like 140 replies, I muted it after I tweeted it, so I was like, right, I'll let it do its thing.
We'll see what happens.
I'll come back to it tomorrow, and then apparently like 140
blown up.
people were sort of like, okay. Let me have a look
perfect.
here.
There's some spicy ones in there. I've had a little bit of a squiz.
Okay, this one is. Do we say the name of the person it's from? Or
Yeah,
do we
just embarrass
try?
them.
Yeah, all right, sure. Why not?
As for a guy
Name and
called
shame.
Tom.
Shout out.
There's a guy called Tom, fantastic name, at RetroSJS1 on Twitter. I hope Ncuti stays for just 2 series. Having a new Doctor is always exciting and refreshing. The lead every couple of years, refreshing the lead every couple of years could be a nice change. I do not agree. I do not agree with this take, gentlemen.
Because
I am of the opinion, and this is a hot take, because over the years, right, episode numbers have been getting smaller. Obviously, we had 12 in like sort of the Russell Capaldi era, and then it was 10 for Whittaker's era, and then it's 8 for Ncuti Series 14. I feel as though I'm of the complete opposite persuasion that the 3 series thing needs to be like broken, because I feel that oftentimes Doctors hit their stride in their last series. Not to say they're not good before that, but I think a lot of people think like, oh, Capaldi is the prime example, right? Capaldi to me is like the default of like, I think a lot of people think series 10 is where he peaks. And I think a lot of people in retrospect have kind of gone, oh, it would have been nice to have another series with that gang. With
That
12,
version of Capaldi, yeah.
Nardole and Bill, you know? And I kind of feel like, and with Whittaker as well to an extent, it's like, I think a lot of people were seeing a lot of stuff that she was doing in like the Vanquishers and stuff, and they were like, oh, I really like the scene with her and the Grand Serpent, I saw a lot of people saying was like really good in that. And I think there's a lot of people who just, I think I'm of the opinion that I think if you just gave them the one extra series to just really continue what they were doing, I think you get like the best material. Like Tennant in the specials is another good example where it's like Waters of Mars is like, that's
great
like,
stuff.
You know, his like defining story, and like I think even Matt Smith said like he kind of wishes in retrospect he'd have done one more. He was saying how like obviously he thought it was right at the time, but I think he's sort of said, oh, you know, I would have liked to do one more. So I think we need to break the 3 series rule. You know, I think it made a lot of sense
agree.
in like the classic series where it's like they're filming all year round, and I imagine the filming schedule was pretty rough. But like now it's sort of like with Ncuti, we were saying earlier with like the sort of scheduling stuff. You know, if they can give him gaps, I see no reason why he can't be the Doctor for a few years, like for a few series.
Yeah,
even, you know,
if they keep him on and are smart about it. Yeah, no, good stuff. So, Troy, do you want Ncuti for 2 series or
no,
more?
like, that's the thing. I think people have to be careful that they don't get... I'm not saying that this person did get confused, but I'm just saying people have to be careful. When we say things like, we expect Ncuti to do 2 series because he's going to do other things, it doesn't mean we want him to only do 2.
No.
It's more just what we're like thinking, this is a possibility. I want Ncuti to do a bunch as well, and what Thari said about the lack of episodes is a really good reason as to why. Like Jodie, we talked about this. Jodie's number of episodes compared to like Tennant's or Matt Smith, she got far less, even though she was Doctor for a longer period of actual time. She had far less content in that time. And I remember Capaldi on Graham Norton when he was promoting Series 10. He said that they hadn't done the Christmas special, but for Series 10, they'd just finished filming, and it was shoot day 205. They've been filming for 10 months. Yeah. Like, it's a grueling schedule. So having shorter series is better for that as well. But I just...
Yeah, 100%.
I want to see more series. I think as long as the Doctor is good, which I don't think there's any question with Ncuti. There's not really been any question with any previous Doctor in the modern run that I think anyone can make a claim for, so haha. But, you know, like I don't really see why you wouldn't want more series. You know? I think it just gives them a chance to explore a Doctor more. And especially when you have a Doctor who's had the same companions, that's also an argument you can make. Because... regardless of what you think about Matt Smith's latter version, because a lot of people don't like 11th Doctor in Series 7 as much. I just liked it for the fresh take of him and Clara, but it almost felt like a bolt-on because like that version of him was barely there. Like an extra series to flesh that out could have been cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point you make there with the companion thing, because I kind of felt, obviously, I know that obviously Yaz is 13's definitive, you could argue. She is like the one that is most associated. But part of me would be really interested to just see Jodie with someone who just wasn't in the fam at all. And we didn't really get that. Because, like, even with Tennant, you got, I don't know, Kylie Minogue, and, you know, you got all the, like, one-off companions, and, like, like, Adelaide and all this, and you didn't really get that with her. And I think something that's really interesting with, like, Doctors is how the dynamic changes with different people, and, like, I think that you've got more time to do that with more series. So yeah, I'm of the belief, I kind of get what they were saying in that, like, oh, the refreshing of the Doctor is always exciting, and it is, you know, there was tons of hype around Ncuti's casting and all this, but I think it is just sort of like, at the same time, I think there's another element of it, if you cast a Doctor too often, it kind of loses that, like, that spark. Do you know what I mean? If we cast another Doctor in, like, 2 years from now, in, like, 2025, it's going to feel like, oh, we only just got Ncuti.
Yeah, it'll be weird.
I mean? Like,
it'll be really strange. Nah, interesting. All right. Good stuff, gentlemen. Wowee.
Sorry, I'm currently having a bit of a brain shutdown moment because I saw a comment from Mr. Scarlo who has submitted hot take, but he's submitted like 12 hot takes, and I'm currently reading through them all, and it's like melting my brain a little bit. Should we shoot through them and just like agree if they're takes or not? 'Cause if we don't, we're going to be here all day with this comment. But I think it'd be fun to dash through them. So let's agree let's see if we agree or disagree with each one of them. So first off, 13's TARDIS interior in series 12 and 13 is better than the Rusty Davies TARDIS.
I can't agree with that. I had
both for different reasons.
I don't know whether you saw on my screen. I had a bit of a. I'm on record as saying, I really. To be fair, Tennant's isn't my favourite either. So just to give it the full, you know, in full fairness, I'm not a big fan of the organic vibe in general. I'm much more of a Capaldi or a McGann type of TARDIS kind of guy. That's more my vibe in general. But with Jodie's in particular, I don't know what it is. Like the lighting, it just never quite looked right to me. Like it just compared to like Capaldi's, where you had all the different levels and all the different rooms and books and chairs, and it just felt so homely. And you go to Whittaker's, and it's like when they're just like sort of sat with their like backs up against those really, really hard crystal things. You're sort of like, it doesn't look comfortable. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't look like lived in space.
Very valid. Very valid.
I was also sort of like with the console as well. Like you couldn't really see many of the buttons. It was oftentimes like you can see the big lever and that little TARDIS that spins around.
Yeah.
But like other than that, it's like you don't really see many of the, you know, the little bits that she does. Really, it's kind of quite obscured in like the darkness of the room. So yeah, I'm not a big Whittaker TARDIS fan. I can see Troy being a little bit like. I feel like Troy's probably.
It's a bit of that, but also a bit of I'm just keep looking at these, and every time I look at them, I'm like, oh, we're gonna have some debates here. We're gonna have some debates. Let's go on to the next one. Name of the Doctor is better than Day of the Doctor. Disagree.
Oh, that's wrong. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
just
that's
wrong.
just objectively
That's
false.
just, your take is wrong. I'm sorry. Like, I don't get me wrong. I don't hate Name of the Doctor, but it's essentially a setup episode for Day of the Doctor. It's like it's not.
He's gonna eat all that chicken in this one comment. I'm telling you now.
Yeah,
I'm hungry. It's quite good.
like it's a setup episode though. You know what I mean? It's not like it's
a
setup
good
for Day of the
episode,
Doctor.
but
Yeah. But it's basically a setup episode. I mean, I love the scene of
it's a prequel.
Yeah, in like Name of the Doctor, where the 11th Doctor learns about Trenzalore and he just breaks down. I think that's like a fantastic performance from like Matt Smith there. But like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna say this. This is my own hot take. I think people are too mean to Day of the Doctor. I've seen a lot of Day of the Doctor like his like sort
slander?
of yeah, because I think people are like, oh, but it doesn't have enough classic Who stuff in it, and it's like. To an extent, I get it, because a lot of people were happy to see Peter Davison and Colin and Sylve and all the companions in power, and that's cool. But I think you've got to think about it in terms of the Day of the Doctor was serving a very different function. That was Doctor Who when it had just gone international and big, and it was like this whole thing of like, how do we make an accessible anniversary for the masses? And I think that, it's really good. And I think plot-wise, in terms of just as a plot, I think it's more tight than maybe Power of the Doctor is. I enjoy Power of the Doctor a lot on broadcast, but I think there's a lot of disparate elements going on in that. And I think with Day, it's a more concise plot in general. And I don't know, because do you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people give Day slander for not having as much stuff in it, but I feel like in some ways that works to its benefit, because it's not having to balance as many plates, you know? And even then,
I think Day's great.
You get like Tom Baker's cameo, and you get all that stuff. I feel like people.
I think both of them are great. Why do we have to fight, guys?
Yeah, guys. Let's just love them both.
No, yeah, I was just saying because I think I've seen a lot of people be like, "Oh, Day of the Doctor is just like a New Who celebration." It's like, is it though? I don't know. I don't know whether I agree.
No, it's not.
Gosh, no. Yeah. Just wait till the 60th, mate.
That's true. Beep the beep, baby.
Beep the beep.
Here's your next one, and Tharies is not going to like this, especially considering one of the pictures he's got on his wall, which I've been looking at for the whole recording. I think it's so cool, the picture of you with Matt. But Mr. Scarlo says that the 13th Doctor is better than the 11th Doctor.
I'm about to
Are you just going to do that every single time, Crispy?
Just for these quick round ones, these quick fire ones.
I'm about to throw hands. Look,
I'm going to refuse to comment. Every time I pick out favourite Doctors and then think, yeah, what about this one? I honestly think I love most of them like equally at this point. Although one of them ate my face, so they take the lead. But apart from that, the rest of them are equal.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I don't know whether you saw recently, I did a video where I was like, Tennant has taken a slight lead for me recently, but I still like, Smith is still my childhood boy. He's still...
Same.
He's my guy.
Respect,
you know?
Harry's. Yeah. Put it here, brother. Fist bump.
Look at that. Boom, yeah. But with like Smith, I don't know, there's just a... I don't want to slag off Jodie or anything. I'm not going to do that, you know. I know that, obviously, I feel like Troy probably... I think, cards on the table, we probably have different views on 13, which is fine, because it's chill. Different opinions are fun, and all of that. And we're cool people, you know? We're cool
people.
Talking. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me.
Keep talking.
Oh my god. I feel like I'm being
safe space. It's hot text, safe space. First and foremost.
What I was going to say with Smith is that there's like such a like layers and nuance to like the performance in terms of like you can see the age behind his eyes and kind of the wisdom and like the sort of the pain that he feels and sort of I don't know, there's just I feel like there's a bit more layers there. Like Shrek, like the Onion.
Like the Onion.
Just, you
good reference.
I can't argue with you when you make a Shrek reference. God.
That's the way to Troy's heart.
Not to say, you know, that 13 doesn't have their moments in that, but for me, Smith is a much
Although I'm just saying,
layered character.
I think maybe he's compensating for something.
Very
There you go.
I'll tell you
the next one.
thing, though.
Need the next one. The next one is that the 10th Doctor and River are a better match than the 11th
That's
Doctor.
fine. I was just going to say, because he whipped out something. I was going to say, because he whipped out the Sonic. I think we can both agree, they both use it quite a bit. They both use the Sonic quite a bit. I think we can probably both agree on that. You know?
Maybe Matt Smith has the more criminal use of it in Power of 3. That is just...
Oh my gosh.
But Troy, here's a question for you. Who wrote Power of 3?
So the next opinion is that the 10th Doctor and River work better together than the 11th Doctor and River.
Wait,
What do we think?
What was that?
10 and River are better than 11 and River.
Oh.
I don't want to agree on that purely because we haven't seen enough. I think there's enough there to compare based on the amount each
so I
of them
know
got.
some people find it, like, because Matt is kind of sort of an asexual Doctor to a certain extent, where he's sort of like, you know, a bit bumbling in that way, whereas Ted, it's like, oh, come here, every time he sees a companion, he's like, you know...
Oh, come here.
Not for Martha.
Yeah. Well, even then, he kisses her in his first episode. I know it's for a DNA scan or whatever, but still.
Yeah.
That was a genetic transfer.
Yeah. Sure
Troy,
it was.
I'll give you $100 if you do that on a date.
What, a genetic transfer?
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a genetic transfer. Mwah.
I just FaceTime you and go, right, kiss someone and go, genetic transfer.
I need to call Crispy Bro.
I know
Oscar has sent you £100.
I'll bring another curveball into it. I know a lot of people like River with Capaldi.
Oh, yeah.
And I think their dynamic is also really nice.
I think it's electric.
And you also, by that point, have the benefit of River having had several years of development. She's not a new character by that point, so she's in her prime.
I think that's the thing, because I think most of Silence in the Library is very much... Do you know who I am, Doctor? No? Not really.
No.
Alright, moving on. Watch the shadows, yeah.
Like, whereas with Smith, you get that time with them to develop that bond, really, don't you? You get, like, there's even, like, mini-sodes. There's, like, one mini-sode of, they're going on a date, and River's there at, like, different points in time and stuff, and the Doctor's like, oh, God, she's talking to herself from the past, and she thinks I'm, you know, seeing someone else or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I mean, I like them. I like all three of the chemistries. So I don't know.
Was the take claiming that 10 is better with River?
Yeah, 10 and River is better than 11 and River.
No, I'm having a wing, mate. I'm having a wing.
All right. Well, for the sake of your own digestive system, and also the fact that we want to get through other people's hot takes, we're not going to read all of the rest of them out. I will just barrel through them and give you no chance to reply. The Chibnall era is better than Moffat's. Series 12 is Chibnall's best. The O-Master is better than Missy. The top three series are Series 1, 4, and 12, but the one that we'll just end on as a quick debate is him saying that Series 10 is 12's worst series. There's a poll earlier in this episode that would prove you wrong on that one, Chief, but...
yeah, that's ridiculous.
You can't just say Chibnall's better than Moffat and not let anyone...
I can, because I want us to get through some of the other tweets you've had, mate. I had to leave it in there. This is why I was pulling faces as though I was in a really, like, weird, uncomfortable position, because I was reading each of them and going, oh, gosh! There's also one that says TEOF is the worst episode, but I don't know what TEOF is. I've been trying to think about it for, like, the last 10 minutes. I thought it was end of time, but that doesn't work, so...
What, with F?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, the end of fine. No, it doesn't work.
Fine.
I'm trying to think. Exactly. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, what is TOF?
Oh, wait. Is it?
Oh, anyone in the comments, let us know.
No idea. Yeah, I'm bad at words. So what else?
I'm gonna. Do you know what? You guys debate Series 12 being Series 10 being Capaldi's worst series, and I will look at a list of Doctor Who episodes and quickly see if I can find the anagram that works.
I think that's just wrong. I think that's just incorrect.
Well, think of a debate. Think of one, guys. Think of one.
I mean,
a debate.
I think you were saying earlier, Crispy, how you felt that Series 8 and 9 maybe had higher highs. So maybe that's where they're coming from with it. Maybe they're like, oh, you know, it's like Heaven Sent in Series 9.
Maybe.
In Series 9.
I don't know.
But I don't know. I feel like Series 10 has a lot of like banging episodes. So I don't know. I was watching like Thin Ice the other day, and I was like,
yes,
man, this is really good. Like,
it's fun. Sarah Dollar.
Thin Ice is good.
Thin
Ice is very, very underrated. I was watching Knock Knock as well, and I don't like that episode as much. But I still think it's fun. It's fun. It's like, I don't know. I like the idea of Bill just being like, I just want to move in and not have to worry about anything right now. Like, this is, you know, my life without you.
Yeah.
But the one thing I always say with that episode is I wish they had introduced the housemates in the pilot. They were just like at the university, and I'll be like, oh, that's a cool tie-in. Troy, did you find it?
It was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it?
Troy, do you know what you're looking for?
No, I got close. I thought it was the Eaters of Light, but that's not an F again, so it's
the
still
Eaters
not
of
that.
Fight.
The Eaters of Fight. I'm almost at the end, so I mean, if I can't see it in a minute, we could presume that he might have spelt it wrong, but that's going to annoy me more because we'll never know what it was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
no, there literally isn't one that works. So either it's the end of time or the Eaters of Light, and he's put the wrong letter, I'm guessing. So there you go.
Well, there you go. What another craze cact from the boys.
The Eaters of Light is
Exactly.
probably not that great, to be fair. The Eaters of Light, like, I kind of get that.
Yeah, no, it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah. It's a shame, because that's, like, one of the few times they brought back a classic writer, isn't it? And it's like... It's
yeah,
like,
well, I'm not making the joke I made
off.
last week about that. I'm making the joke I made last week about that. So,
Wait, what did you make last week?
I just said this is the first time they brought a classic writer back, and I made a joke saying they shouldn't have bothered, but I felt bad as soon as I said it because I wasn't being serious. Right, Ferries, pull another one from your tweets, my boy.
Right,
what have we got?
please.
I will do that right now. Hold on.
We shouldn't have picked that comment because there were so many hot takes that would have been a whole episode.
This one is an interesting one because I think Troy will probably have opinions about this.
Okay.
The CyberMasters are one of the most pointless monster mashups ever created that ultimately serve no purpose of their own.
I agree with the second half. I don't agree with the first half. I think it's a very, very interesting concept that Cybermen could regenerate, but I don't feel like they were effectively used in Power of the Doctor.
Boom.
The one thing, I do agree. I feel like for all the purpose they serve to the narrative, they might as well just be Cybermen. There's not really any reason for them to be the time.
Just say you gave them cool armor. Like, the regenerative powers just weren't. I mean, they used the energy from the regenerative Cybermen to degenerate Jodie, but I highly doubt that when Chris Chibnall created the Cybermasters in The Timeless Children,
that was the plan.
He was like, I'm going to use that regeneration energy to save Jodie in her final episode. That was not... Like,
I do think they look really cool in Power of the Doctor with the black.
Oh, I think they look great.
The black paint job. I think that's really cool.
I
really prefer them in that one.
Speaking of planning ahead, I just want to slide something in because I want Faris' take on this because we never agreed on this, Crispy. How far in advance do you think you planned that Moffat planned that River Song was going to be the Doctor's wife? Do you think he planned it when he wrote The Library, or do you think it was later than that?
I don't know, because I think I remember hearing that the basis for River was based on the time traveler's wife. So my assumption would be that it was planned as that, possibly.
Good man! Thank you! Thank you very much!
Oh no!
It was his first story when he was confirmed to be the next showrunner. It makes sense to tease something he was cooking. Crispy was convinced he planned it later on, but I disagreed. So there you go.
Well, yeah, no, I think I remember seeing an interview of him saying it's based on the time traveler's wife. So I think he probably had that idea in the back of his head when he was
and then he did the actual time traveler's
character.
wife, and it didn't do so hot.
Yeah,
what a shame.
Yeah, no,
anyway,
I didn't see that in the end. Was it any good? I heard it was
never
a bit,
watched it.
No,
I think my mum watched a bit of it, and she said it was very So
yeah, I didn't. It's weird with Moffat, isn't it? Like I've seen some people be like, his not Doctor Who stuff sometimes can be a bit hit or miss. You know,
weird.
Yeah, it's odd. There was a Dracula like adaptation he did recently, wasn't there?
With Mark Gatiss, and it got mixed reviews.
It got mixed reviews, yeah.
I never saw it. I'll give it a go. I quite liked Moffat stuff. I saw Inside Man. I thought that was great, and some people were like, "Oh, it's the worst thing I've ever seen."
I still need to watch that.
I could watch David Tennant like literally do anything. I'd be like, "This is great." But yeah, it's so Moffat. It's weird seeing him write for a show that wasn't Who related. I think that was my first show I'd seen. Oh, apart from obviously Sherlock, but even that feels very Who-y.
Yeah.
But it was weird seeing him tackle something more serious in Inside Man. Anyway, it's quite good. All right, you want a hot take, boys?
Oh, you pull one yourself. What have you got?
Yeah, I got one. All right, this one is from David on Thary's Twitter, and they have said it's I can't say that word. It's SH.
1T.
Correct. SH1T, and for children. Yep.
What? Just the show
What
in
the
general?
show is?
Just the show in general. It's SH1T, and for children.
Why are you commenting on it
to
then?
the next hot take.
No, hang on. I want to address this. Why are you commenting on Doctor Who? No, because why are you commenting on Doctor Who hot takes if you think it's for children anyway? Why would you bother? Why would you go to
Maybe
the effort?
he is one.
I don't make hot takes on the latest Tracy Beaker stories. Do you know what I mean? It's like
I know. Do you know what? Now you've said that, I want to see you do that. I want to see you report Tracy Beaker leaks. Tracy
This is for
Leaker.
David.
There we go. That's gonna be your new channel. That's your new channel.
God.
Make it.
Brilliant.
Copyright it.
Yeah. Oh,
This one's for David. Doctor Who was a family show. Can be enjoyed by anyone and everyone.
Speaking of David-ish, Henry Poole has said this may because of the. Sorry, the way he's written this. This may be because of the hiatus we're in being I cannot read it. Oh, right, okay, no, I can get it. The writing really confused me, but he has written it right. I just can't read. This may be because the hiatus we're in is agonising, but I really don't care if Donna lives or dies in the 60th.
Ooh.
That's...
Okay.
So what do you mean you don't care, Crispy?
I think it'll be interesting if they killed her, and it might add more weight to.
I think
like,
you should eat more chicken purely for saying that. Just keep eating.
It's actually very hot in my mouth right now.
Exactly, you deserve it. Be punished more. Eat more.
All right.
I can't imagine not caring about that specifically, because I am really interested to see how they address it. However, what I will say is, I do get sort of feeling, because obviously a lot of the trailers have shown similar things, I could get maybe feeling a bit like, yeah, you know, the 60th, you know, because we were saying earlier how Series 14 was kind of the thing we were more hyped for. And I think maybe I can sort of see the perspective of, we've been waiting so long for this, like, I mean, we've known Tennant and Tate were coming back. Honestly, before they were announced, I know you did a video, Crispy, honestly, I know you did a video, Crispy, being like, no, they're not coming back.
I was like, there's no way. There's no way. It's so weird. And then, literally.
And then they did. But, like, you know, I get sort of feeling a bit, I guess not put out by it, but kind of like, oh, you know, the wait's been quite long. I get that bit. But I can't really understand if you've been a fan of Doctor Who in, like, that era, not caring about how they're going to resolve the living or dying thing, or, like, the memory thing. I think that's so interesting. So, I don't fully agree.
I think that opinion should die.
Yeah, I get where the frustration comes from, to an extent. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I'm trying to be the...
No, it's good. This is what we're going to
It's boring. Just say something out there. Say that you hate the commenter, you know? Say something controversial. We want some Twitter drama.
What's your hot take, Faris? Do you have a hot take?
Oh...
We can let you think and we go on to another one.
We could finish with the final hot take being an actual Tharies hot take. That could be official
Tharies certified hot take. Sorry to put you on the spot. If there's nothing, that's fine.
I feel like Troy might kill me though if I give one of my hot takes.
Oh no.
That's fine. Let's do a couple more hot takes and then we'll end with yours. And then if it's really bad, we'll just cut the episode off. You know? Like, really crazy how there wasn't an outro to this episode. It'd be really weird.
Weird.
We get a message on the Discord going, did the episode mean to cut off before the end? Yes, it did. Don't question it. Don't question it. All right.
You get like that, the beep, and it just...
Yeah. I'll mute him.
All right, it's Tharies tweets up next, so pull up another Tharies tweet. What have we got?
Oh,
who do you as in Tharies is going?
I'll get...
No, is it like one of the ones from his tweet?
As in, do you want me to read it, or is Tharies
Either one of you. You could both pick one and read it together. You know? I don't know.
Oh, this is one I agree with. I think. Series 6 isn't as bad as people say. Series 5... just set the bar really high for the Smith era. I agree. I see a lot of people give stuff to...
Praise the heavens!
I strongly...
I'm not sighing at the take, I'm sighing at the very deep-seated favoritism that comes from Crispy there. I'm just like, you can't expect a different opinion from him.
I can't help but agree. I know some people say that Series 6 falters a bit in the ongoing arc thing. I've seen... Do you want to start some podcast beef? You were saying how you wanted to start some trade drama. I can start something. Do you know Review of Death?
Yes.
Yes, Billy Gout John and Matthew Toffler.
Yes,
they did a tier list of Doctor Who series, and they put Series 6 in F. And I was sat there like, how exactly? My exact thoughts.
Yeah, no, that's the massive L. The Review of Death, more like the Opinions of Death. There we go.
Damn.
There we go.
Boom.
No offense to you guys, but that is a terrible opinion.
No, they are great guys, but that is a bad take.
Yeah, no, I do like them, but that's a
yeah, they're lovely guys, but that is a bad opinion. That is a bad opinion.
I do think Series 6 does get a lot of... Obviously, I'm not saying it's perfect. You know, there's some bits of it that aren't great, but then you can't have a series with episodes like The Girl Who Waited, The Doctor's Wife.
I was about to say, yeah.
God Complex.
God Complex, the opener, and be like, that's an F tier series.
That sucks. No.
Let's Kill Hitler also. I've argued repeatedly on this podcast that is a severely underrated episode.
That's a bit hot for me.
That is a hot take. I don't know whether I want to die on the Let's Kill Hitler hill, but I'll say I don't.
Let's Kill Hitler.
I agree with this take. I think a lot of people. Oh god! I think a lot of people give a lot of flack to Series 6, and personally, I think it's really quite good in a lot of places. So yeah, I
very
agree
good.
with
Very good.
It's a pretty good series. Yeah.
Boyos, I've got another one for you. You ready?
Go on.
Okay, here we go. Nardole was a better companion than Clara Oswald. Thoughts, questions, queries?
Wait, Nardole.
Nardole was a better companion than the
No!
3 series
No, he wasn't.
runner of Clara Oswald.
Yeah, no, I can't agree with that. Can I be really honest? I don't fully get the Nardole hype. I know some people say he's like the best companion.
My mum will love you for that.
Don't get me wrong.
What is this?
I don't hate Nardole or anything, but I see
She doesn't
some people
either.
say,
She just doesn't really get him. She's not a big fan of him either. She's like fine.
I like
Interesting.
Matt
Like he's
Lucas,
very passable.
But personally, I always thought like with the Doctor and Bill in Series 10, like that's the strong dynamic, and I always feel like. Obviously, I get why, because there's the vault thing, but Nardole's always kind of there to be like, you can't leave, you gotta do this, and it's like, no, let them go and do adventures, let them go and be
true, okay.
together, and all
I like
don't hate
Nardole in the capacity he's in. If he'd been there the whole time, like a Rory, that probably would have been a bit too much. I think they got the right amount of Nardole.
Yeah, I think they got the right
personally.
balance, but yeah, to say that Nardole's better than Clara, who I think
one of the
worst
didn't
takes
start
I've
off the best, had a great mystery, but I think really, like, as we've been saying with all of these, the more time we got with them, the more we were like, oh yeah,
I think
this
that one
works.
scene alone, is it the end of Kill the Moon, where she's like, really laying into
Buzz
the
off or
Doctor
whatever.
at the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, she's really laying it, and like that performance.
Jenna Coleman is a
phenomenal.
fantastic actress.
Yeah, she's
I
great. You
think
should go and see her in a play, Troy. That'd be
you
good.
can't really compare the two. You know, it's sort of like comparing Dan to Donna Noble, right?
Comparing
It's
lemons
like-
to lemons to lemons to lemons to lemons.
I'm getting the different one out now, baby.
Sorry, there's a reference here.
Oh
Troy
my
went to
God.
see Jenna Coleman at a play called Lemons, 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 and she was sick that night. Or something like that, yeah.
She was sick, so I didn't see her. So thank you for bringing it up again, Crispy.
Sorry, it's a little reference.
Do you
for
see
our
this
long-time
behind me?
listeners.
I will have to fight you in a minute if you are not
I
careful.
can't see anything. I've only got eyes for Tharies on this podcast screen, so thank you very much.
Oh, you're so kind.
I know. Oh my gosh. Everyone take a shot. Troy whipped out his lightsaber. Very good.
Oh, right, no, don't
That
say it
sounds-
like that.
that
Don't
sounds
say it
very
like that. I
bad.
did not enjoy
Context.
that.
Troy whipped out his lightsaber. Troy
Don't
whipped
you
out
dare.
his lightsaber.
Don't
Why
you
did
dare.
Why
Stop
did you
it.
whip out your lightsaber when I was on the podcast, Troy? What was all that about? What were you trying to say? You know? What were you trying to
I'm gonna
say,
stop
Troy?
with the
What
vine
the hell
room.
is happening? What is happening right now?
It's mental. It's Troy. We need a hot take. We need a hot take. Get us back on track.
Get
us back on track, please.
Okay, so someone called Captain Jack has said, I think Captain Jack should travel with the Doctor for at least a season. They would be perfect. Not sure if this is unpopular or not. I mean, considering John Barrowman can't do more than half an hour of SAS Who Dares Wins, I highly doubt he's going to do a full series of Doctor Who
I
anymore.
saw that.
Boom.
That was so
That was so pathetic. I was there. He couldn't last for the first bit of what they were doing, could he? He couldn't do the first trial thing or whatever it was.
Look, it's called Who Dares Wins, and he didn't dare, so he didn't win.
I'm gonna say something about Captain Jack. It does kind of depress me that the last moment of Captain Jack we're probably gonna ever see is the 80-yard line of
Is a phone
hey,
call,
Doctor,
yeah.
I'm gonna head back to Gwen, who just meets some
ya.
Daleks.
Why did you sound like a Texas accent then?
I don't know.
Howdy.
Gwen took out a talent with boxing gloves.
Yeah, I got a vortex manipulator. Here we go.
I'm about to head to the rift.
The rift. I got to get to the rift quick.
I'm gonna go get some oil. That's what Texas people say, right? They were all talking about oil. I don't know. That's
knows?
okay. That's
Who
like
knows?
coming through
It does
for me.
kind of depress me that the last scenes of Jack are so rushed.
Yeah,
'Cause
I thought that the other day as
Well,
well.
I mean,
I
there was plans for more Jack until John Barrowman
Yeah.
started John Barrowman.
It's a shame
so,
because,
Yeah.
obviously, I say recently, it was early this year, I watched through all of Torchwood because I'd never seen it before. And I watched it with my buddy John, who used to do Wild Endeavour podcast, RIP. We might bring it back, I don't know. We'll see.
Please. I was about to say, it's
Yeah.
not cancelled, is it?
I don't know, it's just sort of, we just
On
haven't
hiatus.
done it in a while. Yeah, hiatus.
Yeah.
No, it's cancelled.
we need-
You couldn't defeat
Yeah.
us, and that's why we are superior.
We'll
not
do like
starting
a
a podcast,
You're
please.
here. You're
Do-
here is like commiseration for the end of that. That's why we brought you on here because we knew you
we'll
missed
do
it
a-
so much. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
like Doctor in Distress, do like a Wild Endeavour in Distress, and then be like a charity single.
We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back with a song.
It'll hit number one. Yeah.
Just
I
get
was
rid of
watching it with
Jean-Luc,
him.
you know. Just have one of us
You
on
know
it
what?
instead. I'm free. I'm free.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Troy,
love
we
you.
would clash too much. Troy, we would clash too much.
would.
You know
That could
Crispy,
work for a podcast.
Crispy,
Yeah,
I'll
what actually,
take
we
you.
just at each
I'll
other's
take-
throats for a
I'll
whole
take
hour.
You, Crispy.
You want
I'll
to take me?
I'll take,
All right.
Come
I'm
with
pretty
me.
busy.
Like that bit in Fires of Pompeii. It's just the.
Yeah, it's you there. He's opening the TARDIS door. Please,
No, but
come
anyway,
with me.
yeah, I was watching through all of Torchwood, and I was like, man, Jack is so much more interesting in Torchwood, in my opinion. Like, there's so many
Yeah, there's a lot
bits
of...
Yeah.
of his backstory
Like an
and stuff, and it's kind of a shame that we're never going to see that sort of explored again. However, I get why, because John Barrowman was being John Barrowman, and so I can't really. I think the ship has sailed on Jack coming back now,
But
right?
I have no doubt that Russell T Davies and crew will create a brand new set of characters that we fall in love with just as much.
Yeah,
So
100%.
it's not. I mean, it's a shame for the character, and like I
Honestly,
find it
I'd
hard
rather
to
see
separate
Gwen
art from the
come
artist
back, to
sometimes.
be
But
honest.
yeah, that's
rather
another
see
thing.
Gwen.
I'd love to see Gwen come back. Love to see Gwen
Yeah.
come back. But yeah,
Gwen and Owen.
No.
She's Welsh.
she was.
She is Welsh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Troy, where are we at with hot takes? What are we doing?
Do you want me
I'm
to do
keeping
one?
an eye on the runtime, wondering at what point, because if Darius has got a big opinion, I'm like, maybe we
Yeah.
should give
I
it
don't
some
know,
time.
'cause
Let's do one more.
I have a
Let's do
few
one more from
opinions.
here.
Okay,
let's do one more.
I-
Let's do one
Do you want me to find one?
Yes, for sure.
Let's pull
Or
one
have you
from
got
our
one?
listeners. Let's pull one from
Okay.
ours. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go with
winner is-
Minu Sitch. He's got a couple of
Minu
opinions.
Sitch.
We'll go through each of his ones, and then we'll see what Tharius has got to say to end this podcast, probably in flames.
Okay.
The first year of the 13th Doctor's comic adventures are better than Series 11. I haven't read the comics, so...
I've heard they're quite good, in fairness.
Yeah, I've
I
heard
can't
they're
really
good.
comment on that.
I haven't read
can't really
them.
comment on that, because I haven't seen
Yeah.
it. I mean,
So that's...
I'm not a big Series 11 guy, so,
Neither
you
am
know.
I.
I'm more.
I like
I'm
every
more
series,
so
but
now.
11
I
is
was-
definitely at the bottom for me.
I was expecting you to be like, oh, I love Series 11. I was expecting... I'm surprised.
Troy's
Really?
got
Okay.
actually, this is a really good point for us to, this is a good angle. Troy has a really interesting relationship with Doctor Who. I don't know if you, like, Troy, do you remember, you like, weren't really all for Series 11 and Series 12. What was you tell your story to Tharius real quick.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
it's because
interested.
some of the because it was a very big YouTube opinion. Like I started seeing some of the negative YouTube stuff before I even realized like Doctor Who YouTube channels were a thing, and like it's that case where you listen to someone's opinion and you start to think, yeah, this actually isn't that good, and then when you watch it free of that stuff, you're like, I don't know what I was talking about. I don't know what they were talking about. They're talking absolute rubbish. So that was around the Series 12 time. But no, with Series 11 generally, I like it. I like every series of Doctor Who. But like if you ask me to rank all the series from worst to best, I know Series 11 would be at the bottom. Not because it's
Okay.
bad, just because everything else is better, in my opinion. But Series 11 has some
Fair
great
enough.
episodes. Like, it has my favourite opening Doctor episode, Woman Who Fell to Earth, which again
Yeah.
might be
The
a hot
11th,
take, but I've said that
11th
before,
hour
so
for me is...
I like Woman Who Fell to Earth
Safe
more.
bet.
I think as an introductory episode to Doctor Who, that is better. That's just me.
Fair enough.
Hot.
But anyway, the other
Hot
two
take.
takes some in your
That
sets
is
before
hot.
we have a war. Before we
Yes.
have a war. John Simm is the worst New Who master?
Oh my
Nah.
gosh.
I don't
I
know.
Well, actually, in all fairness, they're all very good. Like,
Exactly.
they're all very
It's
good.
not a question of worst. It's like what I said with Series 11. Like, I don't dislike Series 11, but it's the bottom of my list. I might... I don't know where,
don't know.
who I'd
I
where
think
for the
similar
Masters.
to the Day of the Doctor stuff I was mentioning earlier, people have given John Simm a fair amount of flack recently, and
That's just
I'm-
Twitter, though.
yeah, that's true. But like, I don't know. I feel like they all bring something different, don't they? Like with Missy, it's like I really like Dewan's performance. Dewan is like a standout of that era for me.
Yeah.
Like, I think
He's
Oh, absolutely.
I think he's really good. Like, I think my one, it wouldn't be of Sasha in particular, but I think sometimes maybe, there could be, like, there do be some more layers there, like, because like with Missy, she's very, like, nuanced as a character, there's a lot
Yeah.
there. Dewan, by contrast, is quite a bit more, not straightforward's the wrong word, but you know what I mean? He's more of, like, a villain in the more traditional sense.
Yeah.
Of, like,
No, I get you.
I'm gonna do this, stuff. And then with like Simm, he's kind of that middle point. He's kind of that middle point, isn't he? Where
He is. He very
he's
much is.
sometimes quite insane, but then you get to like End of Time, and he kind of has a bit of a redemption moment where
Almost
he sends
redemption arc. Yeah. But it's nice.
and then,
It's open ended. Yeah.
World Enough in Time, he's just a little a little
brat.
bit of a
demon again,
yeah.
And it also again comes down to a question of how much time each actor had with the role. We say Missy's a much deeper character, but she had a lot more time to sink her teeth into
that's
it,
true.
and she was also like the literal series arc of Series 10, so there needed to be stuff there to explore.
And also, if you was
Interesting.
the series hook for Series 8 as well on there, because at the end of every Series 8 episode, there was like a little...
Gosh, we did get a lot of time with Missy, didn't we? Oh,
we did,
good days.
didn't we?
Good
Now that you
days.
think,
So
now that I
did
think
you.
about
So
it.
did you, didn't we? We didn't even mention that this episode. Why have we mentioned... Oh, no, we mentioned it last week.
We mentioned it last, yeah. I met her,
It's
she's
only
great.
because I
She was
watched
really, really fun.
50%'s
Nice.
vlog with you, like, the other night. That's what's brought it back to my mind. You know?
I love those
That's good
boys.
fun.
Those boys are great. I love 50.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
funny.
they're good lads.
Funny.
They're good lads.
They're very strange.
Yeah.
But yes.
But with
But the
I like all
final
three.
take from Ncuti, I think John Simm was the bigger one, to be honest. He said, the Master Doctor, presumably as in Power the Doctor, should return for a spin-off series. Please, Big Russell, I beg. Well, I mean, considering we haven't even had the Fugitive Doctor Big Finish spin-off yet, I don't know whether that's...
Nothing, no.
I don't think there's enough there for a spin-off.
No, I don't think
Is
there's enough there either.
No,
It'd just be like
I
Doctor
disagree.
Who. I don't think they would ever commission
It'd just be
something
like
like
It's
that.
chicken time.
It'd just
Oh
be
yeah, I'll have
Doctor-
some. We're getting
it'd just
through
be-
this.
It'd just be Doctor Who, but like more. The Doctor would be more unstable, pretty
Yeah.
much. I don't know
want some
whether there's
chicken.
enough there. Like with the Fugitive, there's
I got
interesting
6
stuff in
pieces.
there. With like, I get why people want a Fugitive spin-off because it's like, oh, there's the Division and there's all of that, and there's like a lot of
Yeah.
interesting things with like here that we haven't explored yet. And with like, I think another good example is like Paul McGann. Like, what did go on in those gaps? On like seeing that
Big
is
Finish
interesting.
went. We did.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's true. The Master Doctor, though, it's just like... It's more of a gimmick than it is a character, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It works for that story. I get why it was done for that story, but outside that story, I don't really think it makes much sense. Sort of
There's
like,
not much to explore there, no, I don't think.
No, I don't want to see it.
And also,
Don't wanna see
Yeah,
it.
speaking of, I don't know what's going on with Big Finish with the Call Me Master and Future Doctor spin-offs, because I know Sasha said at Comic-Con a couple of months ago that he's literally heard nothing about it since it was announced.
No, it's weird.
Like, I don't know what Big Finish are like with how long it takes them to cook things up and reach back out.
Normally they get stuff out, like, all the time. Like, I'm
That's
on,
what I
like,
was
Twitter
thinking.
and I see, like, Big Finish and, like, releasing stuff, like every single minute. You're like, here's a new Big Finish, and I'm like, I can't keep up with what's going on anymore.
Yeah, what was the one like people were having to go at on Twitter where it was like Colin Baker was put up with like
That was
Christina
part of the
D'Souza from Planet of the Dead?
Yeah, it was part of the Once and Future, the 60th range, I think. It's the it was Colin Baker's Sixth Doctor, Lady Christina D'Souza, and who was the other one? Was it Jackie?
Jackie Tyler?
Yeah, weird.
Like that. I do.
I don't think it's a particular criticism of them, but Big Finish does sometimes feel like, all right, we're going to put all these names in a hat, we're going to pick a couple out and go, right, let's write a story.
Let's make it.
Yeah,
Let's make it happen.
The analogy a lot of people use is like a dartboard, right? Like they'd have like a big dartboard with all their faces on it, and they're just sort of like.
That's
All
funny.
right, so we're going to have Sixth Doctor, okay, we're going to have Christina D'Souza, okay, all right, Jackie Tyler, God, all right, no, go with it, we picked it now, we've got to go with it,
Yeah, it does feel like that sometimes. I mean, it's cool that we have them, but like. I kind of... There's another thing, I think, because you know how Peter Capaldi sort of always said, like, if you do too many multi-doctors, it kind of devalues their specialness a bit. I feel like because with Big Finish, they do a lot of that crossover stuff, I kind of feel for me, it's a bit like, it's not as special. Do you know what I mean? It's like... and it's
No,
like,
it's interesting.
I think with the 60th, I'm kind of glad it's not a multi-doctor in the traditional sense as far as we know.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a new thing. I know a lot of people are like, but I want 11 and 12 and all that to me. And don't get me wrong, I'd enjoy that. Of course I would. Doctor Who fan. But I think there is something interesting in focusing on one and having a storyline of, you know, getting a face again. That's not something we've done before.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
and I think we always do the, oh, here's all the doctors meeting. And there is only so many times you can sort of do that before it's like, you know, what new
Stale.
story, like, what, yeah, like the angle there, you know? So, I don't know.
No, it's interesting. It will be interesting to see what they do, like how they toe the line of fan service and original story. Because I don't know. Whatever happens, someone's not going to be happy because that's the Doctor Who
always
fandom.
the
But
case.
knowing Russell, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Speaking
Yes.
of not being happy, it's time for Tharies to possibly have an argument with us.
Oh,
Crispy, can we have some tension music, please?
Yeah, I can get you some tension
So, just
music.
going
Let's
to
have
say,
a
there
look.
are a lot of opinions we didn't get time for. We may keep some of them for a future hot takes thing or something like that. We'll get there. You know, Tharies, without realising, has signed an agreement with us, so we can use his tweet now in future
Yes,
episodes.
correctly.
Yeah, no.
But, Tharies, we are going to end. I don't know if you've got multiple or just the big one. How many have you got that you're thinking of?
I mean, I can think of a few.
Give us your biggest
so
one.
we're going to end with a bit of a... Oh, end with what? All right, pick your biggest, hottest take that you think is going to end the podcast right now, a nuclear ending. All right, what is your big, hot take?
I think Legend of the Sea Devils is the worst episode of the revival. And probably Doctor Who. There's a moment of pause.
It's in that weird area where I'm like, I think you're being dramatic, but I'm also like not super surprised by it. I kind of expected something hotter than that. Like, I still think Legend of the Sea Devils is a fun episode. It's a bit disjointed. Some things don't quite make sense. There's a bit of goofy stuff in there. Yeah.
A little bit, just a little.
But I still think it's a solid episode of Doctor Who. I think there's definitely like a good 10-15 minutes that were lost on the cutting room floor that should have stayed in there.
I agree with that.
Something happened. I would love in 10 years to know what on earth happened to Legend.
I want to see a Crispy Pro video essay on the lost Legend of the Sea Devils.
It does feel like, I've always said, it does feel like New Who's sort of Warriors of the Deep. It's like, this is where it kind of is a bit like...
It's just about talking 55.
I feel
it's very strange.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I feel like what I'm getting at though is it's kind of, for me, where a lot of the tropes, the sort of tropes of the era that people don't like, they're really on like full display.
Yeah,
like the
exposition,
point. The characters that just aren't really all that. The sort of that whole like the weird locations where they're like time hopping and all of that sort of stuff, and the sacrifice at the end. They do the sacrifice play again, where it's like, Doctor, don't worry, I will sacrifice myself. Leave. Okay.
Yeah. We'll see.
Gone. You know, a lot of
I will say, actually, I'm going to jump to the defense of one line, because the amount of people I see on Twitter saying that the "don't let the swords touch your skin" line is really stupid. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, you never want swords to touch your skin. That's obvious. But the whole point was that the swords would literally kill you the second they touch you, whereas a sword cut that's like a nick on the arm wouldn't do that. So, like, I do think people bash that line a bit too much.
It is funny, though. It is funny.
Yeah,
like,
it's funny.
Also funny.
Like, we're treating them as if they are, lightsabers. So that's the idea there. They're not going to cut you. Crispy, if you roll a face one more time, I'll turn it on again.
I think it's probably just...
All right.
I think it's probably, with that line, it's just the clunkiness, isn't it? It's like...
Yeah.
If it was
I
worded
think people treat it as like some big
I think what annoys me more is when
line.
you have 13 being like, you can't kill that sea devil... And then 5 seconds later, Dan just swipes like 6 of them.
Something happened.
Something's
gone wrong.
But I mean, that's not a Legend of the Sea Devils thing. I think you remember seeing in Series 11 someone putting 2 scenes against each other in conflicting episodes. Said to Crispy where she goes, I love a good conspiracy, and I think it's Kablam. And then the next one she's like, don't like conspiracies.
But that's what I mean. I think it's a bit of a Chibnallism, so to speak, where it's like the sort of the morals sometimes they kind of contradict each other occasionally, where you've got like the Doctor being like, no, don't kill that sea devil, and then you got like 6 of them just being like destroyed in one go.
No, the sea devil. No.
That's really, I quite like the way you phrased, this episode kind of highlights the worst of the Chibnall era. Because it definitely does, but I mean, look, it was still a passable like 42 minutes of television for me.
I mean, look,
but
I'm glad
it's not great. It's not something I go back to very often.
What do you call it? Like, they can't... Like, the thing is, like, obviously, as much as I have my criticisms of that era in general, it's like, it's one of those things, if we didn't have that era, we wouldn't have what we're having now with RTD and all of that stuff, which
I do still think it's funny, though, that it's one of the only 2 episodes that we've seen on this podcast.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Oh, is it?
Like, we've reviewed 2 episodes of this podcast, Legend of the Sea Devils and Power of the Doctor. They're the only episodes that have been broadcast while this podcast has been a thing.
I'll say this. Power of the Doctor is a lot more fun. I think...
Oh, it's such a fun episode.
Yeah, I think... I will say, like, they do kind of give up on having it have a plot. Like, they are just sort of like, here's stuff. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it still.
I disagree with that, but okay.
Yeah, Troy definitely disagree with that. I'm in between because I'm indecisive. That's
no, you're not, Crispy. We both put Power of the Doctor in our top 10 Doctor Who episodes, so you clearly already have an opinion that you love it.
Yeah, true. No, I do. I think... I always say the term popcorn episode. This is probably the best.
It is a popcorn episode.
Like, if I want to watch some Doctor Who, I want, like, the good stuff in Doctor Who. I think, okay, let's put it, like, the weirdness with Legend of the Sea Devils and Power of the Doctor, I think the Legend of the Sea Devils highlights some of the worst. Power of the Doctor highlights some of the best stuff Chibnall's done. So I think it's just a 1-2, and it's just really fun, and the closest thing we'll probably ever get to a surprise regeneration.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That was cool. No, I agree with that. Like, I remember there being so much speculation of who's going to pop out at the end. Is it going to be Tennant or Ncuti? And that was a really fun dynamic.
It was very good.
Imagine if it's been like Matt Smith instead or something, and it was all just
that would have been huge.
Yeah, that would have been bad. I really, I liked as well just her regeneration scene. I'll give you this, Troy. I'll give some praise. Give some praise. Because I don't want you thinking I'll say this. I think Jodie probably had like one of the best regeneration scenes, at least of like the new.
There's no probably about it. Hers is the best. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Well, I mean, 11's is fantastic. No,
but visually.
Visually, yeah. I'm just meaning in terms of the moment itself. I really do like. I really do like. I do like 13's. I like that 13 A goes outside because that's novel and cool. B, it's kind of shorter and sweeter. I don't like how long Capaldi's goes on for. It's like, all right, we get it.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, 11's is the right balance of like bittersweet and also a bit meta because it is like kind of Matt Smith talking as well as the 11th Doctor. It was a really well achieved balance.
12's to me just feels like Stephen Moffat and Peter Capaldi saying everything they wanted to say in one go before they left, kind of thing.
But not removing any of the scenes.
Yeah, and it's like, don't get me wrong, Capaldi is phenomenal, and he delivers it brilliantly, but the lines themselves, they're fine.
I mean, like having to look up the whole children can know your name thing to understand the background behind it kind of says it all, because I remember, and I don't think there are many people who watched that scene and went, oh, I know what he's talking about there. They're like,
and
what?
Referencing
the hearts are in the right place and the stars are too. Children can hear your name. What does that mean, Peter?
Referencing the pairs deleted scene from series 3, that was such an odd choice to me. I was like,
there's a lot of
I
odd
don't mind
choices.
it, but it was like that was from Russell's era, Steve. That wasn't even an episode.
To be fair, it was in Hellbent. Was in Hellbent.
Was it?
That's what I think of. Yeah, he says never eat pears, they're too squishy, they make your chin weird. That one's quite important, write it down.
Yes,
Clara.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose. I always just associate it with the bit
Dingle Dingle.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good stuff.
But yeah, I really like Jodie's final scene. I think it's actually really nice, and I really like the line, tag you're it. I think that's a really nice sort of...
It's beautiful.
...line for her. Yeah, so, see, I can be nice. I can be nice.
You can be.
Well done.
I'm actually proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
What a beautiful ending.
We're going to pass the baton on to episode 68, Troy and Crispy, because we're going to wrap up this episode here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
we didn't get through nearly as many hot takes as we were given, but, that's just us.
Because we're analytical.
We are
real
analytical.
hot takes were the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're all on your walls behind you. That figure display is so cool.
I'm very
jealous. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got all the sign pops. Crispy, Darius has got all the action figures, and Crispy's got
a wall.
Pictures.
Oh,
Katy Perry's
pictures. Katy Perry.
Nice.
And Peter Davison's over there.
Listen, you've met Peter Capaldi, so really, who's with it?
Yeah, that's good. Let's bring that up. Yeah, that's good. That's
I
a good
met
one.
Jodie
Troy loves it when I bring that up.
I met Ncuti. Hang on, we've all met each one of the new, the recent ones.
Wow.
We've got Capaldi, Jodie, obviously Tennant as well, but in terms of the
I remind you, there was a cake. There was a cake earlier this year.
There
My
was.
gosh,
you know what, Crispy? I watched your reaction to that again the other day, and it's just the funniest thing because you're just
good.
You're almost like having an out of body experience watching it for 4 minutes. What is going on?
It's good fun. Good days. But yes,
beautiful.
Thank you, Tharies, very much for joining us for Hot Takes.
I enjoyed myself.
Number 3. Once again, please let the people know where they can find you. Where you at? What are you doing?
I am Tharies on YouTube. You can find it, just search that in. On Twitter, it's @ThariesYT. Same on the new one, Threads.
I know get on Threads.
The podcast does have it. You don't have a Threads yet, do you, Crispy? You gotta get on Threads.
No, I'm working on it. I'm working on the Crispy socials, don't you worry.
Yeah. No,
Who's there's got a Threads, then?
Yeah, it does. I follow that. And then, see? On Instagram, it's also @ThariesYT. So yeah, it's either Tharies or @ThariesYT for all of our socials.
Go and do it. Go and do it. What are you doing?
There you go. There you go.
That could be one of the responses, you know, in another one of these at some point, maybe.
Well, hey,
Who knows?
very cool.
Look
very
out.
cool. Look at you two, and you're using your audience for content methods. Ugh,
Oh,
honestly.
that's
the
the tried and
only
tested
thing.
method. That's the
It's-
tried and
it's
Oh,
tested
it is. No, I'm
literally
going to do. I'm going
rinse
to do
and
that for
repeat.
Payday 3. I'm running out of video ideas for the moment, so I'm going to get my audience to give me some. So it's fine. Don't worry. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it.
It's a lot worse back in like the days before like Revolution and nothing was happening. It's
Oh
like,
my gosh, that was a
what
slug.
do we do? What do we do?
I don't know. I don't know.
There's a picture of the
Twiddled our
companions at a
thumbs.
table, and that's all
Oh
you
yeah.
get.
God.
That's
That's
what
one
we
thing I
could
will
do.
say, and I think you could probably agree with me, Troy. I'm glad we're not in that.
We haven't
zone
got
of,
chibnall
like,
marketing anymore. Yeah. no,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
It's nice to be
Marketing's
able
never
to-
been better. Never been better.
yeah, I agree with that. And that's a nice way to end.
Oh,
It is.
beautiful
It is.
boys. I'm glad
What
that
a
we're
beautiful
still
moment.
friends.
Oh, I can't wait to
Yeah.
feel relaxed for the rest of the day. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to have stress in an hour trying to get Taylor Swift tickets. Can I have everyone watching this
very
pray for me?
good.
Well,
Leave
I
it-
mean,
leave
by
it
the time this
one
episode
like.
goes out, I will have already got them, hopefully, but...
We'll see.
Oh.
This could age very badly for Troy.
No, mate, apparently Ticketmaster crashed yesterday again, so I'm just like,
Ooh.
oh,
Well, good luck.
it's going to be...
Oh, I
it's
just
gonna
seen a
be
tweet of
stress.
someone saying that they're currently in the queue. So,
Go and do it, Troy.
Yeah, there's 3 Liverpool dates, and I'm gonna go for one of the latter 2 because I don't want to go and see her on a Thursday night. That just seems really like that seems like a bad idea. Like going to it like an Anfield gig until like midnight or something on a Thursday. I'm like, So I'm gonna shoot for the next one on Friday, see if I can get in. We're gonna see, but you know, we'll find out. We'll find
Sam.
out.
The episode, son.
I'm going to. Will you let me
Do it
speak
now.
now, Crispy?
Oh my gosh.
See what I did there?
Oh
See what I did there?
my
See what I
gosh.
did there? That was great.
That's
That was
ridiculous.
great.
Yeah,
Right, ladies and
good
gentlemen, we will
stuff.
see you
You're
all next
fired.
week with episode 68. Crispy, what are we even doing? What is next week's episode?
Oh, it's fun. It's a fun one. I can't remember, but I checked it. It was like, oh, that's awesome. That's really good.
Well, do you know what? Since you've forgotten, I'm gonna have to get it up, aren't I? Because we need to tease
yeah.
it for the Q&A. You silly goose.
ooh.
Is that? Oh, that's what we're doing. Okay.
What are we
Episode
doing?
68. We're going to be talking about reused locations in Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
I'm going to let you get in charge of that one because you've literally made a video on it before. I think you know far more about
many,
it than
many
I do.
moons
Just like you know
ago.
about Planky. So,
Yeah, good
if
old
anyone's got
Planky.
any,
It's all going to be Cardiff. Every...
Yeah, it's just everything's
Yeah.
a card.
It's just the same
Cardiff.
location. It's been used like 20 times. Then we go
Yeah.
through it like that. So if anyone's
Yeah.
got any interesting reused locations, let us know in the next week. But apart from that, it's goodbye from Crispy.
Bye.
It's goodbye from Tharies.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. We'll see you all next week where we look at reused locations in Doctor Who. Until then, Alon Z, baby!
Hello, baby.
Let's go.